Hello, Roman from Avid Visions, and today we will be doing a video about neutral density filters. As you can see, hopefully behind me, vaguely, maybe in the bokeh, there is a small little creek waterfall. We will be showing you how neutral densities work and when they come into play in photography. Alright, so you can see here I have my tripod ready. Now before I show you some effects that the neutral density filter causes, I just want to begin to describe to you generally what a neutral density filter does. Now, neutral density filters are filters that attach to the front of your lens that block out light from entering your lens. You can buy different powers of neutral density filters, and they go up by 0.3. So 0.3, 0.6, and 0.9 block out 1 stop of light, 2 stops of light, and 3 stops of light respectively. Here I'll be using a 3 neutral density filter, which blocks out 10 stops of light. Neutral density filters are therefore used when you can't get a long exposure in really bright situations. So it could be the middle of the day and you need a light or a long exposure, so you'd use a neutral density filter. They can also be used to allow you to use a very wide aperture and still get a long exposure. Now here I'll take a regular picture of the creek and I'll show you why you would want to use a neutral density filter. So let me readjust here. I'll show that picture on screen, but you can see here that the water is just frozen. It's not really blurring out. Now, if I raise my aperture number to, let's say, f22, I can now have a slower shutter speed. I can have a 1/6 of a shutter speed, which blurs out the water a little bit more, but it's still not blurred out enough. And that's the key thing to remember. Neutral density filters are used for long exposures, and long exposures are usually just used for some sort of effect. That could be blurring something out in the picture. Here we're trying to blur out the water. A lot of people like to use it for city photography, where you take pictures of skyscrapers with the clouds behind them. Really anything you want. Now, I'm going to get my neutral density filter out and show you the difference between an f-stop of f22 and just simply using a neutral density filter. So the two previous example pictures I took were taken at f4.5 and f22 respectively. You saw in the f4.5 picture that the water didn't blur out at all. At f22 it started to blur out, but it still wasn't a long enough exposure in order to completely blur out all the moving water in the mini waterfall here. Now I put the neutral density filter on. I'm going to go back to f4.5, but you'll see a huge difference between the original f4.5 picture and the new one, now that the neutral density filter is on. And remember that we said that one of the uses of a neutral density filter is so you can still use a very wide aperture while taking long exposures. Now, I'm going to take this picture. It's being taken for 15 seconds, so you can automatically tell the difference just through the long difference in exposures. Okay, we're going to put this picture up on screen and zoom in on some portions of the picture, and you'll see the difference in the video. Now, I don't have to use a neutral density filter only to take pictures of creeks. You can do it for whatever artistic effect you want to go for. But that's our quick video on neutral density filters. We hope you found it useful, and go out there and take pictures.